I'm gonna say this right off the bat right here, right now. I am not reviewing the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic games. I do not care. They are just minigame collections, and if you have a problem with that, why don't you go review the games yourself, huh? How about that? So instead, my coverage of these games is going to be me complaining, because you know what? I think people have gotten too complacent with the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games series, because it's just been around for so long that people have just kind of accepted that this is a thing that exists. But you know what? Nah, screw that, man. I have heard enough of that, and I think someone needs to say what needs to be said about these frickin' games. Because, you know, I'm sure there's some fans out there, they're like, oh no, the Mario and Sonic games are actually pretty good. They're fun little minigame. I don't care. I don't care. Shut up. You shut up. Stop talking to me. Oh, but the Dream events have lots of cool fan service and stuff. You get to snowboard down Radical High. I don't care. Shut up. I'm sure that a couple of these games are perfectly fine, good party games that you can play with your friends and have a good time. But I am not interested in that, and I honestly don't think anybody else is either. People just take these games because they exist, but I cannot help but hate these games because of what they do not allow to exist. I've mentioned before on my channel how it's not fair to criticize something for what it isn't, you have to criticize it for what it is. But not in this case. This is the time where I'm breaking that rule, because Mario and Sonic as a crossover thing is not something that can just happen when you feel like it. It's two different companies that have to come together, they have to make an agreement, contracts need to be signed, a deal has to be struck. So the ability for Sonic and Mario to cross over in this kind of way is a special opportunity. And for like 15 years, they have been squandering that opportunity, making these stupid Olympic Games tie-in minigame collections, when literally every single Mario and Sonic fan on planet Earth has been wanting a real, legit, genuine Mario and Sonic crossover. And this is what I'm talking about with that complacency. When the first Mario and Sonic at the Olympics came out, people were saying these kinds of things like, why are you doing this instead of a real crossover game? But over time, those comments have just, like, faded away. We've all just accepted that this series exists, and I guess we're just never gonna get a real Mario and Sonic crossover. Fuck that, man. I still want that. And as long as they keep making these stupid games, we're never gonna get that. And I'm especially annoyed because I know that this entire Mario and Sonic at the Olympics crap exists purely due to cynical business marketing shit. And I'd be willing to bet that no one actually cares that much about making these games, because we have to ask ourselves the question, why did Sega decide to do this initially? They got the rights to do a Mario-Sonic crossover. Why did they decide to throw the Olympics in there? And I'll tell you why. It's because Sega also owns the rights to make Olympics crossover games. And I'm sure that they were going, well, we could make just straightforward, realistic simmy-type Olympics games, video games, but no one would care about that and no one would buy it. Oh, we got this Mario and Sonic deal now. If we slap those characters on it, then people will surely buy these games in droves. And I'm especially annoyed because it friggin' worked. And sure, you could argue there's some appropriateness there, that the Olympics are all about people from all kinds of different parts of the world coming together in the name of sportly competition and putting their differences aside, and with Mario and Sonic being ex-rivals, ex-console competitors, it kinda, speaks to that a little bit, and sure, but I don't give a fuck, it's not worth it when the alternative is getting real Mario and Sonic crossover games. I would always take that instead. And again, this is a thing that people have just kind of accepted, but I find the very concept of Mario and Sonic competing in an athletic competition to be ridiculous. And it's one of those things where it's like, it doesn't matter because the branding of the Olympic Games, so we just do it anyway. The idea that Mario and Sonic would compete in a foot race, and that is a thing that we are going to take seriously as, oh man, Mario and Sonic are pulling ahead, they're neck and neck, because, they're the mascot icon characters, who's gonna win? And it's like, hello, is this not Sonic the Hedgehog? Like, are we just gonna ignore how this series works? And the answer, sadly, is yes. It doesn't matter that this entire concept makes no sense and that the Sonic characters should blow out the Mario characters in a number of these competitions, because this is an Olympic Games game, and it really just has a skin of Mario and Sonic over it. These aren't the real Sonic characters, because if they were, they'd be dominating all these competitions. It's just some generic video game avatars that you play as, and we insert the branding of Mario and Sonic games here to increase sales. And it makes the whole thing feel so inauthentic, because this is not really Mario and Sonic crossing over, because this is not how it would go. And yes, I know, I'm thinking about this too much, it's not really important, it doesn't really matter, but all these little things, they combine together on top of the fact that this entire series exists out of pure marketing cynicism because Sega had the rights to the Olympics, and the fact that all of this is here instead of an actual authentic Mario and Sonic crossover, which literally everyone wants. I find it hard to excuse. However, when it comes to the idea of a real Mario and Sonic crossover, there's always the people that go, okay, well here's the question. How do you make a real Mario and Sonic crossover? How do you make those two series work together? Because the gameplay of the Mario games and the Sonic games is so radically different from each other. How do you make one game where you can play both at the same time? It seems like it would be an impossible feat. And to a degree, I can agree with that if we're talking 3D games. 2D games, I think, would be more doable because they're more similar to each other. In fact, what you're looking at right now kind of demonstrates that. But, you know what? I actually do agree that I think doing a Mario and Sonic crossover platformer is really difficult to do, and honestly, I don't think it's the right choice. I think the right way to go about a Mario and Sonic crossover game would be an RPG, actually. And I'm not even an RPG guy. I don't really like RPGs. But it's just so obviously the correct thing to do. Because what do people really want out of a Mario and Sonic crossover? What they want is to see the Mario universe and the Sonic universe interacting with each other. They want character interactions between the Sonic cast and the Mario cast. They want to see Bowser and Eggman team up, and they want to see Mario and Sonic team up to defeat Bowser and Eggman. They want to see elements of the series mix and match together and see how they can complement each other. The actual gameplay and design of the two series crossing over, I think, is way less important, and in ways can be better achieved through something like an RPG. I'm especially envisioning this in the style and flavorings of the earlier Mario RPGs, Paper Mario and the Mario & Luigi series. And in the context of crossing over the two series in that kind of game, I can think of countless ideas of how you could do that, and it would be really cool so easily. Like, here's a simple one. You have Eggman and Bowser combining their forces together, so what if Eggman starts to power his robots with Bowser's army? So you're in a battle and you're fighting some Eggman robots, and then when you kill the Eggman robot, the enemy isn't defeated, it now breaks open, and instead of an animal being freed, a Koopa pops out, and now you have a new enemy to deal with. That's such an easy, obvious, free thing that you could throw in there, and it would be so appropriate and fitting for a crossover of the two series, and people would love it! You could also do things like combo attacks where characters work together to do special moves, and like, you know, Mario, a big part of it is kicking around Koopa shells and they hit enemies. So you boom, easy combo right there. Sonic rolls in a ball, Mario kicks him around, he bounces from enemy to enemy. There are endless possibilities of what you can think of to cross over these two series in so many cool ways. But the main reason that I think an RPG would be the ideal format for a Mario and Sonic crossover is actually because of the story potential there. Obviously, RPGs are super story heavy, which means you get lots of opportunities for dialogue, character interaction, and different things happening. Not to mention the fact that the earlier Mario RPGs and the 2000s era Sonic games have very similar storytelling style and tone to them. You look at something like Super Paper Mario, and that story fits right in line with the best of Sonic stories from so many people's favorite games. Those two would mesh together so perfectly, and the concept just writes itself. How many Mario games, including the RPGs, are about Mario having to travel around and collect the 6 or 8 multicolored magical MacGuffins? And you just take those MacGuffins and you turn them into the Chaos Emeralds and say some big Chaos Control whatever thing caused the Sonic universe to merge together with the Mario universe. And so you have places overlapping with each other, characters meeting each other, enemy types mixing together into different areas, visiting Mario locations, Sonic locations with your party made up of characters from both series. It all just writes itself. You have Wario and Waluigi try to steal the Master Emerald. Tails and Egad are working together to try to figure out how to separate the two universes before they break apart or whatever you come up with. It's so easy, man. It's free. It's free 99, and they just haven't done it because they've been wasting time on these stupid Olympics games. It is infuriating to me. So, in conclusion, my final thoughts with this whole mess of a video is please stop making Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, and please make a Mario and Sonic crossover RPG. You have wasted 15 years not doing that, but it's never too late, so get on it already.